Imagine waking up in pitch darkness. It is -30 degrees Celsius. The wind is howling like a beast outside your thin canvas tent. You are an experienced hiker, tough and logical. Yet something terrifies you so much that you grab a knife and slash your own tent open from the inside. You don't have time to put on your jacket. You don't even have time to put on your shoes. You just run. You run into the freezing snow, towards a dark forest, knowing you will likely never return. This is not a movie script. This is the true story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. In 1959, 9 hikers went up the Ural Mountains in Russia, and none came down alive. When rescuers found them, the scene defied all logic. Some had died of hypothermia. Others had crushed skulls and broken ribs, injuries comparable to a high-speed car crash. Yet they had no external bruises, and perhaps the most chilling detail of all, one hiker was found missing her eyes and her tongue. What force could do this? Was it a sea? What force could do this? Was it a secret military weapon, an avalanche, or something not from this world? Today, on LoreLens, we open the files on history's most disturbing unsolved mystery. To understand the horror of the end, we must understand the joy of the beginning. It was January 1959. The Soviet Union was opening up, and hiking was a popular sport. The leader of the group was Igor Dyatlov, a brilliant 23-year-old engineering student. He assembled a dream team of 8 friends, 7 men and 2 women. They were all students or graduates of the Ural Polytechnic Institute. These were not amateurs. They were grade 2 hikers, highly experienced in surviving extreme cold. Their goal was to reach Mount Otorten, a difficult northern peak, to achieve their grade 3 certification. The photos they left behind show a group of happy young friends. They played the mandolin on the train, they laughed, they took silly photos, and they documented every step of their journey in their diaries. One diary entry reads, "It is so great to be alive, to be young, and to be in the mountains." On January 27th, one member, Yuri fell ill with joint pain and had to turn back. He was heartbroken to leave his friends behind. He hugged Igor goodbye, not knowing that he was the luckiest man on earth. He would be the only survivor. By February 1st, the group had reached the slopes of Kholat Syakhl. In the local Mansi language, this name translates to the Dead Mountain. The weather was worsening. A snowstorm was picking up. Instead of going down to the forest for shelter, Igor Dyatlov made a controversial decision. He decided to set up camp right there on the exposed slope of the mountain. Perhaps he didn't want to lose the altitude they had gained. They pitched their tent around 5 p.m. They laid out their skis, ate a dinner of crackers and ham, and prepared for sleep. Everything was normal, but sometime in the night, chaos erupted. Investigators found the tent collapsed and covered in snow. But the most critical piece of evidence was the cuts. Forensic analysis proved that the tent had been slashed with a knife from the inside. Why? Why would 9 people destroy their only protection against the deadly cold? Footprints in the snow showed that they walked, not ran, but walked calmly, down the slope towards the forest, a mile away. Most were in their socks. Some were barefoot. It was a death march. When the search party arrived weeks later, they found a scene of absolute horror. Under a large cedar tree at the edge of the forest, they found the first 2 bodies, Yuri and Georgi. They were stripped to their underwear. Nearby were the charred remains of a small fire. Their hands were burned, suggesting they had desperately tried to keep the fire going. Investigators believe the hikers engaged in something called paradoxical undressing, a phenomenon where victims of extreme hypothermia feel a sudden burst of heat and strip off their clothes before freezing to death. 3 more bodies, including Igor Dyatlov, were found scattered between the tree and the tent. It looked like they were trying to crawl back to the camp before they died. But the real nightmare was found 2 months later, deep in a ravine, buried under 4 meters of snow. The last 4 hikers, unlike the others, these 4 had suffered brutal violence. 1 had a fractured skull. 2 had major chest fractures. Experts said the force required to cause such damage was equal to being hit by a truck. Yet strangely, there were no external wounds, no scratches. It was as if they had been crushed by high pressure. And then, the detail that has haunted the world for decades. Ludmila Dubinina was found missing her eyes, and her tongue was ripped out at the root. Traces of radiation were also found on their clothes. The authorities immediately sealed the area. Tons of theories have emerged. Was it an avalanche? Modern computer models suggest a small slab avalanche could explain the injuries. But it doesn't explain the radiation or the missing tongue. Was it a military test? Hikers 50 miles away reported seeing strange, glowing orange spheres in the sky that night. Some believe a concussive weapon or a rocket test caused the internal injuries. Or was it infrasound, a phenomenon caused by wind interacting with the mountain's shape, creating a low-frequency hum that induces panic and hallucinations in humans? To this day, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains unsolved. 9 hikers went up, and only a mystery came down. What do you think happened on that frozen mountain? Was it nature, man, or something else? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, please subscribe to LoreLens and hit the bell icon. We release new documentaries every week. Until next time, stay curious.